or you could ask a question off camera. Do you want to give your questions to other people, or do you want to what would you feel comfortable with?
I get my questions.
Okay, so who would like to take Anjali's question? Lucas, you've got one question, so why don't you take question number one? It's in your, open your phone and go to the chat, it'll be there. And then Henry, you've got question number two. Ibuki, you've got question number three. Take out your.
I can also do 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense.
Take out your phone, because this is not going to be, you're going to be looking at Nia, not this. And then Mark, your question number 5. So take out your phone. Yeah. So take out your phone, Mark, and you're going to do question 5. Open up the chat. And Nia should be here any second. So just to give you a little background on Nia, Nia Warren graduated like 5 years ago, give or take. And she was not in filmmaking. She did a lot of like debate, and she was very active on campus, but not so much in the film stuff. She went to USC as a general student, undergrad, and then 2 years, she kind of realized that she wanted to do filmmaking, and then she applied. So if you're at USC, you can get into the filmmaking program as a liberal arts student, and then she got in. She made a film, which was like her, oh, here she is. Her first film ever, and then got into USC film program, which is amazing. And now she's an actress, and here she is. If I can. Hi, Nia. How's it going?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Are you in your place in LA, or where are you?
I'm in LA.
Great. Great. Which
Yeah.
neighborhood?
Yeah. Near Koreatown.
Oh, nice. Nice. Good for
Yeah.
Korean bath.
Not really.
Oh,
Yeah,
not really?
the food's-
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you
Hopefully
recognize
we got a Koreatown.
it'll fill 5, hopefully. So this is my class. It's a small advanced filmmaking class. You want to wave hi, everybody?
Hi guys, how are you? I'm
Oh,
Nia.
sorry.
Nice to meet you.
And I told them a little bit about you, coming from Athenian and going to USC. And when you arrived at UC, you were like, you hadn't majored yet, right? You were sort of a general student.
No, when I arrived at USC, I was studying public relations,
Oh, okay.
and then I transferred.
Got it. Got it.
Mhm.
Well, each of the students is going to ask, or most of them will ask a question. So we'll get into details. And yeah, I'll start with our first person. Who's got question number 1 again? And can you introduce yourself? And
Hello,
Hi.
my name is Lucas, and my first question is, how did you become first interested in acting or filmmaking?
Okay, nice to meet you, Lucas. I've always been interested in acting. When I was younger, I did like a little bit of professional acting in a short film called Locks. And that happened to be directed by Ryan Coogler, but at the time he was a USC student, so that's interesting. And I started there, and from there I also did a play directed by Delroy Lindo, who's a pretty famous actor, and he was directing a play called Joe Turner's Come and Gone at the Berkeley Repertory Theater. He lives in Oakland as well. And from then I was always interested in acting, but I wasn't able to really make it a priority because of other things that I was doing. But when I got to USC, I knew that public relations was great, but it wasn't really fulfilling me. And I was looking at the film school all the time, and I was like, okay, first of all, it's just gorgeous. It's so nice. It's just, I love sitting there eating lunch there. But then I was like, I'm really interested in a lot of parts of film, reality television, possibly directing, producing, acting. And so I decided to just take the leap and 2 weeks before I had 2 weeks to get everything done. So for the deadline. So I made my first short film to submit. I was able to talk to one of the former teachers and directors of diversity and inclusion at Athenian Cal, who helped me. Well, his guidance just helped me write a pretty compelling, I guess, personal statement. And from there, I was able to obviously get into the school. I studied film and TV production, and it was really great. I was I was good at producing, but I really love directing. I know that I love television more than even movies. And so from there, I was able to get some recognition as a director. I was chosen to direct a pilot for USC because they have a TV series class and they pick students each year to be directors, and they chose me to direct the pilot. So that was a really interesting experience. And as I was doing that, I also realized that I also wished I could be in front of the camera, going back to acting as well. And I missed a part, but when I was transferring from public relations to film, I pretty much told myself, if I don't get into the film school, either I'm going to transfer to UCLA or I'm going to just drop out of college and just pursue acting because I wanted to have that flexibility. And so I got into the film school. So I was able to do film and meet people, and some people put me in their films and make a lot of connections. And at the same time, taught my friends, or my fiance now, who was interested in film, how to direct and produce as well. And we ended up making a film together, which I can talk about. And yeah, then I graduated and I knew that I wanted to go straight into acting because I'd never had that flexibility before to just, go to auditions and things like that. But of course, the pandemic was happening at the same time. So it was pretty slow. But that's pretty much the story of how I got into acting and took that pretty seriously afterwards.
So that flexibility was what allowed you to try different things and figure out that acting was it.
Yeah. Everything helps you. And I knew that even if I wasn't as passionate about film, because I had no idea, I never made a film before, I knew that I would at least get some great tools for acting, which I did, because you start learning how directors think, it's easier to communicate with directors. And ultimately, I will get back into filmmaking at some point, or even reality television. But acting, this career path, takes a lot of focus and discipline. And I know that right now it's served me really well to just really spend my time on pursuing acting to the fullest extent. Yeah.
That's cool.
Good question too.
Good question.
Hi, my name is
Hi.
Gillette. I'm a sophomore here. I'm really interested in filmmaking, and I was wondering, what are the factors that go into making a good applicant to a film school, and I guess in your case, a good applicant to the USC Film School?
Sure. And what was your name?
Henry.
Henry. Okay, sorry, I cut out when you said Henry. Nice to meet you. So for me, I got into college originally because, well, I would just say because I had a unique way of approaching applications, and I would say take risks. So, read between the lines. When I applied to SC Film School, I had no film experience, but I just made something that I was passionate about. And I didn't have the most high quality cameras or high quality microphones, but I started with something I was passionate about. And I was actually Black Student Union co or assistant president at that time. And I was dealing with a lot of racism from a statement that one of my directors made, and people were attacking her and attacking me and sending death threats to her and things like that. And so I decided to make my film about that. And it was very, and I haven't thought about it in a long time, but it was very risky. I had masks involved, and I was able to recruit a lot of my friends to be a part of it. And it was like, now that I think about it, it was kind of like thrillery. But I would say, when it comes to first the film aspect, because you probably will have to make some kind of short film or show something, don't focus on how am I going to have the most high quality film that looks like everything else that I see. But I would really focus on, one, what resources do I have? So the first thing I would do is just write down the resources. Do I have access to a camera? If I don't, whose camera can I use? how many friends am I able to recruit to be a part of it if I need to? Just think about all of your resources and just be as scrappy as possible. Like, do I know somebody that owns a house that I can film in? Do I, because when it comes to the film school, at least with USC, from what I've seen, is it's the kids that just want to make films that are exactly like their favorite director that don't do well or don't necessarily get in, but it's the kids that are passionate and show that, yes, I may not, they don't expect you to have everything together right now. And they don't want people that are going to just follow the steps of their favorite director. They want people that are creative and going to try new things and are going to shock people. And also, one of the most important things about college applications is they think about how am I going to challenge the students around me? I mean, it's the same way with, independent high schools. It's like, how are you going to relate and help the other students around you grow as well? So when it comes to filmmaking aspect, resources, be scrappy, and do not be afraid to ask for help, because I promise you, everybody else is. Like, my fiance helped me with my film to get in so much. He was damn near assistant directing, and he was like recruiting all his friends, and he really helped me with it. And that there's nothing wrong with that, because there's people that have who are applying to USC whose parents are the famous directors that you like, and they're going to use their help. So just, it's all about help and demonstrating your passion and being unique. And when it comes to the writing aspect, for me, I know that there was something about a personal statement where it's like, explain who you are. And I was like, okay, well, there's nothing in here about the format of how I have to explain it. So I decided to write a script of what it's like walking into my grandparents' house. And that was that. And I wrote a scene basically like that. And I was like, okay, so this is really risky, because they might just be like, what the hell? Like, we're asking you for an essay. But I was like, who cares anyways? Obviously, I don't know anything about film. And so, like, I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So I might as well just separate myself, because I'm not going to separate myself with my filmmaking experience, that's for sure. So I'll tell them what kind of person I am, and that's a risk taker. And that really paid off. And also network with people as much as possible. You never know. So people might know people at SC, or people you might meet someone who's helpful with admissions with SC, but just tell everybody that you want to be in filmmaking and what school you want to go to, and somebody's going to be able to help you along the way. Don't be shy about it, that's for sure. And you're already asking questions, so that's great.
Thank you very
Does that
much.
answer your questions? If you have more questions, feel free to let me know.
That does. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Ibuki. I'm a senior at a senior school, and my question was, I was wondering, what was like your USC experience, like the college experience itself, and if that like ever affected your like current career in acting?
Yeah, that's a great question. And for me, I'm just now kind of realizing how my college experience helped with acting. But in terms of just like being a student at USC, I loved it. It's no secret that I had a rough time at Athenian, that's for sure. But when I got to USC, the first year I would say it was difficult, because I was a spring admit, so I didn't really know anybody, and like I was struggling to figure out like how to fit in when people already knew each other. But I was able to make a lot of friends by being involved in clubs and stuff, which you hear about all the time. But I took a risk freshman year and ran to be assistant director of the Black Student Assembly, ended up being elected for that, and then made a bunch of friends with people that were older who, helped me build my confidence. And from there, I really just had to I was going to the Center for Black Student and Cultural Affairs a lot. I was, spending time with my classmates. And USC is a really fun school. It was really great. Like, even as a spring admit, I had a great time. I know people that were not spring admits had an even better time, because they had so much freshman welcome things. And when it comes to how this experience has shaped me now, I would say when I'm looking at roles and pitching myself to agents and things like that, I can say that I would love to play like the Black Power student that's the Black Student Assembly leader on TV. And so shows like All American or All American Homecoming would be great for me, I don't know if are you interested in acting at all?
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're interested in acting, I would say the most important thing when it comes to acting is living. Like, you can take a lot of classes and those are extremely helpful, but like when it comes to being a great actor, it's all about pulling from personal experiences. So get to know yourself, like what are your hobbies? Who do you like to hang out with? What are your traumas? Like, know yourself well so that when you're putting yourself in the shoes of a character, you'll be able to actually be authentic. And also a great way to kind of start getting into acting is through commercial acting. And the first thing a commercial agent's going to ask you about are what are your skills. So like when I was first asked that, I was like, I don't know, like I like to talk, I'm a waiter. And they're like, okay, so is every actor in LA. But like if you could say, oh, I play this instrument, or I'm an engineer, or I do hair, or I do this, they're gonna be like, oh, no, like they love actors that aren't all just about acting, So just get to know yourself. College is a great time to do that, discover who you are. And the best part about being an actor is every time something terrible happens to you, you can just like smile and be like, oh my God, this is gonna help me in a scene one day and take it from there. So, yeah.
Um, yeah, could I ask like a little personal question?
Yeah.
Peter? Oh, yeah, cause,
30 minutes, but
cause, you say that you were admitted to college for the spring semester, and I'm like
Mhm.
in the same situation for my school. I'm going to college next year, and I'm also going to as from spring, and I was wondering, how did you deal with that, and like how to not be successful, but like how to like deal with all the struggles as like a
Yeah.
late, yeah.
That's a really good question. And I'm not going to lie, it was really difficult. It really helps when you get along with your roommates, or if you have roommates so my roommates and I got along super well, and then until we didn't, and then it was like crazy. But I would say if I could go back in time and as a spring admit, I would definitely, like, I know it sounds corny, but like put yourself out there and do things that make you uncomfortable and say yes as much as possible. When people ask you to hang out, even if you're tired, just be like, okay, I'm gonna try once. And honestly, if you have a therapist that you can talk to over Zoom or whatever, I would do that if, just to check in with yourself weekly, because it can be difficult. And hold on, I want to really think about like that time and what would have been helpful. Um, I would say do your best to spend the least amount of time in your room as possible. Um, it's really easy in college to just spend all day in your room or watching films and TVs, and just if you're not comfortable. But I would push yourself, and also I would say try not to judge people. I see a lot of people that are like, oh my God, I thought I was gonna be part of this club, but everybody's weird. And that's usually never the case. Like, you might meet crazy people in every, situation that you go to, but like try not to judge people and treat people the way you want to be treated, because you don't want people to judge you. And I would also say try to be your most authentic self as early as possible, instead of trying to be malleable and just fit in with every single person that you that seems cool or you want to be friends with. Like, I remember one of my freshman roommates was like, oh, and she was black, but she was like, you're black, but you're like, I'm black, but you're like really black. And I was like, what the hell does that mean? And that could have been like, I'm gonna start doing what they do and party with these people. But I was like, you know what, I'm gonna just continue to be myself and attract the people that I'm supposed to attract. And that's not by being perfect, it's by being goofy and being myself. And just like, and you may not make but one friend, but like when it comes down to it, you want those real friends, like that actually like you for you. Because one of the biggest things people talk about the minute they graduate school is, oh my God, I thought I had all these friends, and now I realize like those were all like surface level friends, and I have nobody to talk to, and I have nobody, just focus on fighting people that like you for you. Not, it's about quality, not quantity, because people come and go, like, but it's really just about like self-discovery and allowing yourself to make mistakes. you can make mistakes in college and come back from them, because people, when they see you make mistakes, they feel better about themselves. So yeah,
Got it. Thank you so much. That was really helpful. I appreciate that.
no
Thanks.
problem. No problem at all. That was a good question.
Back to me, I guess. Okay. Here's my next one.
Mhm.
Let's see. So what are the major responsibilities in your current job, and like what does a typical day look like for you? And I mean, I know with acting it can depend on, like if you have like on how you get like jobs and stuff and how you get hired and stuff, and like if you're working on a set or whatever. So how does that work?
Right. Right. So, acting is a pretty interesting life. For me, I'm a waiter now. So like I was very excited to become a waiter when I graduated, because I was like, I finally am gonna have a job where if somebody asks me to audition or be somewhere at this time, I don't have to even think twice or like make up an excuse to my boss or whatever. I can just do my thing. So I work at a sushi restaurant at night. And my day typically, like my day to day typically looks like get up, work out, because that's like, important based on depending on what roles you want to play. Eat a healthy breakfast, and then go from seeing if I'm in class, which I am right now, start working on either reading scripts for class or analyzing scripts for class or memorizing lines. If I have an audition, which I tend to have, not right now because we're on a writer's strike, but if I have an audition, get up, get ready, do my hair, makeup. Lucky for me, I have someone that lives with me that helps me with auditions, but a lot of people have to go find somebody to help them with auditions, to incentivize them with food or something. I don't know, but get up and do either a commercial or theatrical audition, turn that in, try to get a nap in, then go to a 6-hour work shift. And it really just depends on where you're at with your career. Sometimes you're in an actual project, and if I'm in a project, then I'm working a lot on script analyzation and memorizing lines like 24/7. And currently right now I'm in class and possibly working on filming something soon, so that's something that I'm now having to work super hard for, and that means beefing up my workout and like doing character analysis. For example, right now in class, I'm playing the character of like the first female serial killer, Eileen Wuornos. And so like I've been watching really creepy documentaries and trying to get myself in the mind of that character, and it's super haunting and scary. But like, just finding different or watching, you know, um, YouTube videos about how the actress prepared for the role for that, or other actors and how they're able to be great. Like I just watched one on the guy who plays Kendall from Succession. Like just finding different ways to motivate myself, because I would say when it comes to acting, the toughest part is just staying in it. And I would say that's for any art career. So like you have to find different ways to motivate yourself every single day, to get up, to work out, to do work that when nobody's watching, and just stay motivated, because it's very easy to just look at your friends that are like, went straight to a 9 to 5 and, are actually using their degree to make money, and just be like, oh, I should just do that. Like I could just go work for HBO or something. But like, it's all about finding ways to stay motivated, and it doesn't always have to be acting. Like I was saying before, it could just be like working on skills that you're good at, like sports or I don't know, tennis or doing hair, so that when you get an audition, you're ready, whether it's practicing accents or doing vocal training if you're a singer, or practicing different things. But it's just really like making sure that you're a well-rounded person that's available, because when it comes to this industry, you have to really stay ready. You don't want to have to get ready. Like I shot a pilot a year and a half ago, and I had to play someone who has to be in like seriously like pretty like good shape. And I thought they were scrapping it, and then randomly they hit me up and asked me to talk about filming some more in like a month. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad that I've been consistently working out and like practicing, and I'm in class and things, because I don't have time. A month isn't enough for me to just all of a sudden snap and get it together. So, and I would say when it also comes to the day to day, you're not as flexible to do other things. Like, if you're interested in acting and you end up having an agent, you're going to have to pretty much tell them anytime you leave more than a couple hours out of the city that you're in. because called booking out, because if they call you and say, hey, I need you to be in an audition an hour and a half, and you say no, they're gonna be like, what do you mean? You're dropped, so it's a lot of what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of like discipline and sacrifices that come with acting, and a lot of like repetitive behavior and self-motivation that keeps you going, but it's always worth it when you're on set doing what you love and or auditioning for great roles.
Awesome.
Hi.
Hi.
So my question is, what do you love most about your job? And what's the most challenging part of it?
Yeah. What I love most is when it comes to acting, to me, it really does feel like magic. So like there's nothing else that comes close to like the feeling I get when I'm like filming a scene and I really feel like, oh my God, I just snapped into the character and I wasn't even thinking. I just let go and all my training and stuff paid off. And of course, there's the fun part of it when you have a trailer, people doing your makeup and hair, but it really, to me, acting is one of the few things that I'm like, I don't care how hard it is and how much discipline, it always feels worth it. And it's can change your life and it can change other people's life. Like it helps you when you research characters, it helps you understand other people's psychology more or learn more about the world or learn more about yourself. And that's been really great. And also, like I always say, like one of the most important things somebody can have is hope. The minute people lose hope, that feels like the end. And for me, it's like there's so much hope in acting. I have no idea what character I'm gonna play that's gonna be my big breakout character. I have no idea how much money I'm gonna make. I have no idea how I'm gonna influence people. And it's exciting to know that there's just like it feels like opportunities are endless. The amount of characters, the amount of people you can meet. It's really great. So when it comes to the acting life, I would say there's that. And knowing that personally, I feel good knowing that I'm never gonna be able to look back and be like, I didn't actually pursue my dream. And my parents both went straight to my mom was a singer and my dad was a model. And that's weird to say because it was so long ago, but like they both decided to go straight to 9-to-5 jobs out of college. And they've told me ever since, I wish maybe I would have pursued my passion a little more and see where that goes. Not that they don't like their jobs, but they always wonder. And so they always told me to pursue your goals. And so it's good knowing that I'm pursuing my jobs. And most of my friends that actually, went straight to 9-to-5 and wanted to be actors either quit their 9-to-5 or are saying they're going to quit because they're like, this isn't fulfilling enough. Not to say don't do a 9-to-5, but just pursue your dream is what I'm trying to say. And when it comes to challenges, I would say the biggest challenge is, like I said, self-motivation. When you're not, it's easy to work it's not easy to work a 9-to-5, but it's would have been probably easier for me to work a 9-to-5 because it feels more like school. People tell you what to do and you have deadlines and like it feels like it's a lot more structure. Whereas with acting, I could either wake up and do all the things that I said, or I could just like wake up and watch Housewives all day and go to work and then be like, oh my God, why is my acting career not taking off, And so it's very difficult to be self-motivated. It's difficult to be a waiter. I don't know if anybody here has been a waiter, but oh my God, like it is not what I thought it would be. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait. Like I'm gonna be just like talking to people and making jokes, and it's very, very difficult. And especially when you are struggling, or especially if you have the ego, like, okay, honestly, I already paid this much for a degree. I don't need to be a waiter. It's easy to be like, I don't want to do this anymore, but it's necessary for me right now. So I would say the challenges revolve around discipline, having to make sacrifices for your ego and say, okay, yes, I could be making this amount of money, but it's just not happening right now. And then seeing your friends, I have my friend, works for Microsoft, and he's just like, he just has it, and it's comfortable, and he's gonna, have his savings together. And if I say we go on vacation, he's ready to go. And that can be difficult to compare yourself to people. Actually, comparison is a very difficult thing when it comes to the arts, which I can talk about, because for me, most of my friends are in the arts, and it's very easy to just like look at them and be like, oh my God, they've already been in this movie or this film or whatever, or this TV show. But you have to really just trust that the process of what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you. That was interesting.
Will you just take Andrew or are you next?
I think it was Anjum.
You can ask the next question. More questions?
Okay.
Yeah, keep them coming.
I wanted to ask a question about like your future career and sort of like where do you see yourself? I'm assuming there's like a long way that you still want to go, or like I'm assuming that you want to still keep doing acting and stuff. And like is there any specific acting like or like movie that or like a character you want to be or like anything like that?
Yeah, thank you. I really want to be on a long-running television series. As much as I love taking risks, I would love to have some stability. So it'd be nice to be on a TV series where the cast and crew feel very close, and it feels like kind of like going to school where you're like your friends are there and you're working, but you're pushing yourself but you can really just focus on one character to make sure that character is great. That would be really great for me. And so I hope that one of these pilots or these roles I do turn into that. And yeah, that would be a dream come true for me. And then eventually from there, hopefully I can start producing unscripted television with my resources. And after that, I really want to probably settle down and like just focus on family. But yeah, I've always loved television, I'm obsessed with TV. So I definitely want to just focus on building a single character for television and have a little bit of consistency in my life.
Nice. Speaking of like TV shows or like movies, what is like one or two like your favorite movie or like TV show that you would like recommend us like as a high schooler or like teenager to watch?
Yeah. I mean, right now a lot of people obviously are watching Succession. I'm really enjoying Succession. And I didn't even realize you see it, but you don't realize like the complexities of how good the acting is. Like they are so intentional. And if you're interested in like a TV show, I recommend going and watching YouTube videos about breaking down the acting or the directing of that TV show because it makes it even more special to watch. I like The Boys. I can't wait for that to come back on Amazon Prime. It's about, like pretty much not serial killers. Sorry, I'm thinking about the role. Not serial. Well, they kind of are serial killers. Superheroes. Yeah, I'm really messed up. They're pretty much serial killers. Show that I think about it though. Shows that I like that are maybe not as like complex. Like I'm enjoying All American, and my fiance just started playing a role in that show, and like it's a really good like feel good show, and it's pretty simple. I feel like TV, which helps you. That's important to understand too. And Shameless isn't on anymore, but I really loved Shameless. The acting, the comedy, and that is great. And what other shows am I watching? Because I always go back and watch like shows that are already canceled. I don't want to recommend that show that I'm thinking of right now. Yeah, I would just stick to what I just said. I'm really enjoying those shows. Yeah, I love dramedy. Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, appreciate it.
We got like 5 minutes.
No problem.
8. 8. Okay, we got 8.
What is your best advice to students who are also interested in filmmaking / acting?
Yeah. My best advice is make sure you actually love it. And I say that because you might be interested in it, but you have to make sure this is something that you can make sure, and I keep saying self-motivated, but something that you actually will do, not just when there's no money or no accolades involved, because it's a very difficult career to pursue. And if you don't find yourself being like, if you're a scriptwriter or screenwriter, wanting to write scripts, even when it's not for school or making little short films, just make sure that that's the route that you want to go down, because I would hate for anybody to feel like, oh, they think it's their dream, but it's not. Because the entertainment industry is not an easy industry, you know? And I would say consume as much as possible. Tell everybody what you want to do. When I tell you that like networking is so important, especially when it comes to acting or filmmaking, it's huge. And one of the biggest parts about networking that people tend to miss is just taking a risk. Like, don't do what everybody else is doing. Talk to people, reach out to them, and stay connected, because they, more than you think, actually want to help you. Like, there was a showrunner from a very popular show that came to USC. And after she finished speaking to my class, I went up to her and spoke to her personally and asked for her contact information, and then found out that I was not allowed to do that. And I'm like, the TA was like, oh my God, why you know the rules. And I was like, I did not read your syllabus. I did not know the rules. But like now, she's a connection that I've had for years. She wanted to help me before the pandemic, and now we're the right strike, get into the writer's room for one of her shows. And I sent her my acting reel, and she watched it, and she told me she'd keep me in mind for roles. So just like tell everybody and be bold, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. And I would also say collaborate as much as possible. And as much as it's important to network, one of the things that I had to learn when I graduated is networking laterally. It's not always about reaching to be like, oh my God, let me talk to this director or this agent or whatever. Talk to your friends that are all, wanting to do the same things as you, and work together, because your friend might be the person that you're going to want to network with one day. And you don't want to have missed those opportunities because you're too busy chasing people that you don't actually know, or that you don't even have anything to bring to the table yet. And speaking of bringing to the table, make sure you have something to bring to the table. So I would say if somebody were to come up to you tomorrow and be like, oh, you want to intern for me? Send me your director's reel, or send me this, or send me that. What are you going to do? Because it's easy to be like, oh my God, I'm going to go straight to this internship, and I'm not going to, I have a friend that was more about like, okay, I'm going to work for this production company, and then I'm going to network there. And then that's how I'm going to get into these TV shows. And then it's like, but if they ask you to be in the show and they ask you for the reel, you have nothing to send them. They're not going to be able to help you, because it's not just convincing them, it's them having to convince other people that you are someone that you should bring on. So I would say try to find ways to package up what you like to do, so that even if it's not amazing, you could be like, I'm passionate, and I'm not just saying I'm passionate, I'm working on this, not because I'm getting paid, because I love to do it. Yeah. And let me think more about the student aspect. My advice for students is don't take everything so seriously to the point where you're just acting like everybody else or making content like everybody else. There's this thing at USC where you make a 310, which is kind of similar to a junior thesis. And when you're in it, it feels so serious. And you're like, oh my God, this has to be perfect. And this is going to show my classmates if I'm a good filmmaker or not. But it's really not that serious. And sometimes people look back and like, I wish I would have just practiced being a good, or taking risks as a director. That way, when I graduate, I can know what's good for me, instead of just trying to like prove to my classmates I'm a good filmmaker, because nobody should be an extremely amazing filmmaker while they're in school. That's not what school's for. And treat people kindly, I would say, just be someone that's easy and fun to work with. Like, again, when it comes to networking laterally, film school is a lot easier when you are genuinely friends with your classmates, because there's gonna be times when they're gonna have you team up or pick people, and it's like it's the people that are already friends that had an easier time like being a part of these projects. And when it comes to acting, I would say as a student, just take something away from every class. I went into acting a little bit cocky when I was in college, because I did not understand like why I had to do like little tasks or technique and scream and do all these activities. And I was like, I just want to get to the scene work. And every step of acting is important. So just don't take yourself too seriously, and just get something from every single experience, because not only is it smart, but it also, you don't want to be off-putting to your teachers or to your classmates and things like that. Does that answer your question, or do you have any more specific questions?
It does. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Nia, thank you so much for taking this time out. I know you have a really busy schedule and this is awesome. So give it up for Nia.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciated all of your questions. I can tell you guys were like thinking about questions and asking things that were important to you, and I really appreciate that. And I really wish you guys all the best of luck when it comes to pursuing your goals. And don't be afraid to take those risks, and just like good luck and congratulations to those of you who already like gotten into schools, and good luck to those of you that are applying, and good luck to those of you that or deciding to take a gap year or just do your own thing. Like, just make sure whatever you do, just make sure you put your passions first and your values first. You'll be fine.
Thank you so much, Nia. I'm actually might be in LA in October, so maybe we'll have lunch or coffee or something just to check in. I'd love to see you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
actually,
definitely.
Audrey Anderson, do you know Audrey?
Yeah. I remember
So
she's in
she works for
unscripted stuff.
ITVS
Mhm.
and does reality TV shows. So maybe we'll all have coffee together.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I know she's out here doing unscripted stuff too, so that's really cool. I have to
Totally.
connect with her again.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See you,
Thank you
Nia.
so much for having me.
Bye.
See you later.
See you later.
Bye.